The East Roast Podcast.
Are you listening?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the podcast. This is the East Roast Podcast. I'm Tony, and I'm with my partner, as always. You know who it is. That's Chris Cotton.
Hey, what's up, man? Y'all know what it is. It's East Roast Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, tell a friend, post about it, share about it, go to your local grocery store, get some groceries, buy healthy stuff if you can, maybe a little candy to treat yourself, and then subscribe again and hit that notification button.
That's right, that's right. So listen, we got a great guest today. You know him from season 19 of The Ultimate Fighter. He fought in the CFFC. He's a veteran of the UFC. He's a South Jersey Strangler. That's Tim Williams.
What's up, guys?
I'm excited. I'm excited to sit here, and I'm also. I know he's a nice guy, so I feel very safe now. Now I'm on my side.
That's right.
When he walked in, I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Look at how small we look next to this guy. So I've had the pleasure of going to a few of his fights. This guy is a beast, man. You know, I remember you when you were in the CFFC, and then of course you got the call up into the UFC. I mean, you know, your career has had all kinds of ups and downs, but the one thing is, you know, you've been a real inspiration to the area.
Thank you.
You know, you're a local guy, and you know, he's just one of those guys that just, you know, persevered, continued to work, and he got to, you know, the pinnacle of his career with just, you know, hard work and believing in himself.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
So what? I did want to ask you this one question, I guess, just to get it started. I mentioned that you were in the Ultimate Fighter. You were in the 19th season, right? Mm-hmm. What was that experience like? I mean, was it a good experience or?
Yeah. It was real good, man. It was a nice little break, you know, from the day-to-day life shit, you know, like work and all that. You know, it's stressful rushing home. I work out in the morning, go to work, and then work out at night. So you just constantly rush in. There ain't enough time in the day to do the shit you want to do. Out there, there was more time than I knew what to do with. You know what I mean? And it was nice, man. It was like a little vacation.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
And I get, you know, you're training with some of the best too. It's hard to find. You know, you get to a certain level, I think, in your career, right, where you need to seek out those, you know, those elite level trainers that can really bring you up to the next level, right?
Yeah. It was fucking awesome, man. I mean, you know, I grew up watching BJ Penn. You know?
Man.
That's like, he's one of the reasons I got into the sport. And then fucking next thing I know, you know, he picked me to be on his team. You know, it was amazing, man. It was cool to be around that.
That's right, man. It was BJ Penn, and it was
Frank Yeager.
Frank Yeager, another Jersey guy. Yeah, that's right.
He didn't fucking pick me either. I thought, I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's cool. I like both of them, but, you know, I'm a BJ fan. So.
You know, BJ, well, is that more your style? I mean, do you like, I know you stand up. I mean, I've seen your fights. But, I mean, do you have, like, is the ground game something that you really trained a lot on?
Yeah. BJ, just watching, he's just a wild dude too, you know, man.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. I like, you know, like, I like dudes that are wild like that, and, you know, just come out and put it on the line. He's, you know, watching him fight was so exciting coming up. He wasn't going in there to win rounds. He was going in there to finish dudes.
Yeah,
you know? So
and, you know, all his fights were entertaining. All of his fights were entertaining.
Is there a certain level of adrenaline that, like I know with some people, like when I used to fight growing up, I remember when that adrenaline hit me, I used to be like, all right, now, like things would kind of slow down.
Yeah.
And you'll start understanding what's happening. Is it like kind of scary to realize that talent that you were given by birth of when adrenaline hits me and it's time to fight, like when your fight thing mechanism clicks on, that the next person on the other side of you also has that thing inside of them where you both can actually be present in the fight?
Yeah, it is wild, man. It's you know, it's addicting actually. You know, it's like that rush. It's fucking you know, when you're getting ready to walk out, you know, maybe you're second or first, whatever. When you're standing there and you're waiting, you hear music. It's like sometimes you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem, you know, especially, you know, when you got to the UFC, you know, you're standing there and, you know, you walk out, thousands of people. Yeah. It's awesome, man. Yeah, it is an adrenaline rush, and
there's so many.
I like it.
You know, I've talked to a lot of fighters, and you know, there's so many of them, and there's always these different moments where, you know, the nerves set in. I mean, they do. They have to at some point. I mean, you are human. It's like, you're going in there, you're doing a job, and you're doing something you love, and that's something that a lot of times people don't realize, too. You love doing what you're doing. It's not like you're there with fear, but there's that moment, where, you just get a little bit of, that feeling. Some are before you even enter the building. Some are when you get into the cage. Some are while you're sitting there getting wrapped. I mean, did you always have that moment where you had to just say, time to turn on a switch and that's it?
Yeah. As soon as after so many fights in the beginning, amateur career, you don't really know, you don't have a routine, like a pre-fight routine, so you kind of, but, I got close to, I got over 30 fights total, I boxed, I did a little bit of, kickboxing, grappling tournaments, shit like that. So, but fights, you get into a habit. So you get there, you may be later on in the card, whatever, say there's 15 fights and I'm like 15 or 14th fight. Yeah. You got a lot of downtime. So you get to the arena, you just kind of mosey around, maybe take a nap. It's weird, man. Like, before you fight, like when you get to the arena, you're tired. And you see it a lot with a lot of fighters. Yeah. It's actually like your body doesn't want to fight. So it's like scientifically, there's science to this shit. Yeah. Like you get tired, you're yawning, you're laying down. It's because your body's trying to be like, yo, don't fucking do this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah,
or at least even just prepared, like to just bring yourself down to almost like a state of relaxation, to where because otherwise, I mean, really, the normal person, man, I got to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know, the normal person, if you put me out there, I don't care how much training I would do. I mean, I don't know. But see, a fighter is a different person, right? Fighters are different. Not everyone can be a fighter. Not everyone can. You don't fight because well, I don't want to speak for you, but I get the sense that you fight because you love it. And it's not because it's something that, you were forced into in life or anything. It's just, like, how did you start? I mean, what was the beginnings?
Just a fan, pretty much, watching, me and my fiance, I remember laying in the bed watching UFC, and I would work out, hit the bag and shit like that at my house. I thought I was tough, Yeah. And then so I called around. I live in Millville, New Jersey. So I'm calling around looking for gyms. There was like no gyms really, MMA gyms anyway. Yeah. But I found the Vineland Judo Club, and called them, went in, took a class, and it was just. I got mopped up by like guys in their 50s, and I'm fucking 19 years old. I was lifting, running. I hit the bag. I was, getting street fights a decent amount. I was an asshole when I was younger, So
I was about to ask you, were you a street fighting kid?
Yeah, we got, I mean, nothing crazy, but definitely probably more than most, But it's just how I grew up. I grew up with a sister who she's actually a professional boxer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's her name?
Lisa Garland.
Lisa Garland.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If you look her up, she held one of the belts, like, what is it, IBF boxing or WBC? One of them, yeah. Wow. She held a belt. She's pretty good, yeah. But so I had her. She's like a fucking dude, She's growing up, she's a roughneck. I mean, she's pretty. She sang, stuff like that, she's tough.
Yeah.
So she would kick my ass. I was the youngest of four.
Yeah.
So then, and I had two other brothers. My one brother's like 10 years older. My sister's like 6 years older, and my other brother's 4 years older than me. And the one that's like 4 years older used to kick my ass. So he toughened me up. And then around 16, I was working out, and I got his number around 16. I got him. We kind of bounced back and forth. And then around 18, 19, especially when I started training, I got the edge on him. But, we were fighting me and my brother Tommy. Shout out to my brother Tommy. I mean, I love him.
Yeah, what's up, Tommy?
He used to kick my ass, So we were fighting. I've never fought somebody, more than him. I mean, fist fighting.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I hear a lot of people tell me the toughest fights they had were in their own family, man. It's like, like when you have those kind of fights, you're not really afraid of the world.
Yeah,
I had a neighbor that me and him were best friends, and we fought literally every day. And it was the funniest thing is one time me and him got into a fight like at the park right down the street from us, and some kid came and was like, "Ooh, he beat you up," and we was like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Well," and I said, "Okay, now I said, you want to fight him or you want me to fight him?"
Yeah.
And it was like, this kid gets his ass whipped. All he did was just watch him fight.
Yeah.
And just comment on it. It was like, no, we're friends. We're fighting. We don't even keep score anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So so were you into the martial arts before that, or just the seeing the UFC is what really got you going? I mean, did you ever train in anything at all, or you just in that moment you knew that's what you wanted to do?
Not in the gym. We used to box. We had boxing gloves growing up.
Right.
My oldest brother, Donnie, he used to box with me in the side yard. He'd be on his knees. I'd be like 8 or 10 years old, and he'd get on his knees, so we were even height, and then we'd spar. Pretty much. We neither one of us trained. He's still tough. I mean, he's a tough dude.
Yeah.
So he toughened me up. Shit like that. Wrestling with friends. Parties and shit. Wrestling around outside or throwing some boxing gloves. We always boxed. Like on my street, we'd go. All the time there'd be boxing. So
it's amazing.
No. My brother Tommy was actually
There's
he
always
was
a
good.
champion of the block.
Well, maybe my brother Donnie. I don't know, man. There was a lot of fucking boxing matches.
Was he the guy to beat him? He was the guy to beat. He was the guy.
Yeah. Donnie was the guy to beat. He was 10 years older than me, so I didn't get. Wasn't like I would fight like my brother Tommy. We would fight all the time. My brother Donnie, he was just so much older than me. He would just annihilate me. It wasn't
it wasn't even fun to mess with.
Yeah. We used to box. Fuck, man, we used to box a lot. And friends come over. I remember, probably when I was like 14, I was doing pretty good boxing. Guys, friends of friends would literally come out to box in the street.
Right.
Put on the gloves and shit. This is before cell phones and all that. I can imagine we'd probably have some cool videos.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's why it stayed fun, because there was nobody taking a video.
Right.
The introduction of videos ruined.
Casual
fights,
no doubt.
Now you're not fighting for just y'all. It's not just whoever was there. They got in the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? But then once
what's funny too?
Camera,
Sometimes too, you'll see these videos of these fights, right? And they'll only show you the ending. Now, that doesn't really tell the whole story, does it? Because, in the beginning, the guy might have been getting his ass handed to him, and somebody might have done something, and then, so it's like, I used to like it when you had a fight story, right? It's like you had to believe the guy, if he told you that's how it went down, until the other guy told you that ain't how it went down.
And that's what creates great, fun memories and friendships that last forever is the story of the fight. You have people who used to walk into a fight hating each other, leave out 5 years later best friends because the story of the fight itself.
Yeah, sometimes that's why you fight, right? You just get it out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. Some of my good friends, or if you're already friends and you get into a fight, when you become friends again, you're like tighter. There's like a bond there. Like you guys, I think
that probably happens all the time in a gym. I mean, when you're with guys all the time, you're training all the time. There's got to be moments where you're like, we're gonna go hard this time.
Oh,
yeah.
But then you gotta also, another thing is, if you're fighting a friend, you don't like demolish him. You keep it close enough that you can remain friends. That's how you know if your friends are not for real in the core. If somebody is a friend and they completely beat you to a pulp, it's like we were never friends to begin with. You know what I mean? As soon as you get the win, you get the upper hand, you kind of you pull back. Yeah. You're like, all right, and then you help them up. And like, all right, you good? All right, man, don't talk to me for a week.
Yeah.
Then it is what it is.
I got a question for you. Were you surprised now? Because I was there to see a lot of it. Were you surprised at the how much love you got regionally out here? I mean, when you would fight in Atlantic City, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, you wouldn't believe. There were so many people that were there for Tim. That it was just insane, right? I mean, and you felt it, right? You knew they were there for you, right?
Yeah. A lot of like I said, a lot of childhood friends. I remember high school. We'd load up in a car, go to a party. Somebody that we didn't like, we'd get into a fight with, and then next thing we graduate. I started training. All these guys are coming out to support me fighting. We were getting in street fights a lot in high school. So it was cool, man. It was the support was. Shit, man, it was awesome, man. Yeah.
And it's wild too about like you look at what now when you were watching UFC, right? When you're talking about when you were a kid and what people thought of the UFC then, they had no idea that it was going to turn out to be what it became. So you saw something and said, I want to do something that there was no guarantee that there was even going to be a career that you could even pursue in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it became what it did with a show that you were on, the Ultimate Fighter, and that changed everything, right? That had to be wild to realize that only a few years earlier, they're talking like. Who was that guy that said it was human cockfighting? It was John McCain, right?
Yeah,
John
yeah.
McCain. So but he destroyed the idea, that this was a sport. But the fans knew it was. The fans knew it was a sport.
I mean, I was a boxing enthusiast growing up, so it was even hard when it came out of nowhere. It was like, I mean, I agree with it, but it was one of those things like, I don't know, man. It ain't boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too many appendages being used at once.
Yeah. But what MMA had to endure, was probably bigger than probably any sport really had to endure because the government was against it. It was like, and they really painted a picture about these guys, that they did not deserve. A lot of these guys, they're out there, they're training, kids. And they're teaching kids discipline, right? And they're teaching them how to protect themselves, but in a way that where you don't project force on anyone, but you can be forceful if it comes to you, And that's that's always been the more it's always annoyed me because I have known quite a few guys that have been in the MMA world, and they're not the guy that in those days especially they would act like you were.
Yeah.
Did the training help discipline you from a lot of the street fighting?
Shit, man. Yeah. I think I've been in a couple of little altercations, but I don't think I've been in a fight since I started training. I've grabbed people, choked people a couple times, but I haven't pummeled anyone, I remember people getting knocked out, fucking whatever. But I haven't. It definitely reeled me in a lot, man. It changed my life. Definitely changed my life. I love it, man. It discipline, like you said, discipline.
Yeah.
You got to be on time to train. You get there, respect. It changed my life definitely for the greater, for sure.
Yeah. Now, do you see yourself being, at some point? Obviously, everybody's career comes to an end. Do you see yourself, moving into the coaching world, or maybe opening up a gym, or just helping out at other gyms, or do you think that you'll put it behind you and that'll be something to pass? Or will it always be part of your life? I mean,
it'll always be a part. Yeah, my coach Marco Perazzo, he says there's like fighters and there's martial artists.
Yeah,
that'll do it. And that's why I look at myself I think of the samurais, right?
Yeah.
I know after practice I fold my gi up a certain way. The samurais used to do that shit, you know? And that's how I kind of think about myself. I really became a martial artist, you know? And it's something I'm gonna do forever. Yeah.
Well, even just what he said there. I mean, it's like these little things, these little disciplines, that you pick up. They are life changing. It seems like a minor thing to care for the thing that is part of your path, but it's what it does. It's pretty wild, it's.
I believe if you don't have something that you're doing that you respect it that much,
at
least find out the background of it and really get into it. That's when I think of MMA fighters, I think of Shaolin, Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? I think of that aspect of it. You got different houses with different techniques and different. I respect it a lot. Like I said, I grew up watching boxing, but I truly do respect mixed martial arts for exactly what it is. It's a martial art. You know what I mean? Boxing in and of itself is just one form of fighting and an art form that has a lot of different ways of thinking it. It really is checkers. You know what I mean? It's literally boxing is checkers because you only have two things. Both of you got your hands. You come in there. You stand in a squared circle, as they like to call it, and you do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And MMA is similar, and I feel the same respect for it. It is just one of those things where if you don't understand, now you don't have two pieces of things that you got to look at. I mean, from head to toe. That's literally. I mean, if we really just said just appendages alone, 4 appendages. 5 you count the head. Which, is that illegal? Or can you
you can.
So you got 4 appendages. But that's just looking at it from a basic standpoint. But if you look at it from a fighter standpoint, you have everything can be used as an attack point.
Back in the old days, you could use the head. Back in the old days, I mean, do you remember that? It might have been UFC 2. I think it was UFC 2. Did you see the guy? He was just punching the guy in the nuts. Did you see that one?
Fuck. Fucking, he was like a karate guy. Or
Yeah,
some shit.
you know the guy that he was punching in the nuts went. I think he went to jail for murder. Yeah, he was the. I wish I knew his name. I mean, I didn't even think that would come up, but yeah, I think he went to jail for murder. I don't know, but yeah, but he was a nut, man. He was a wacky guy, or maybe it wasn't murder. I don't know what it is. He's in jail though. But I mean, that was like those guys were not what the UFC is. They were just tough guys, tough guys who had certain background, certain martial arts backgrounds. Maybe they were just fighters, street fighters, whatever. By the time that people put a bad stigma on the UFC, the UFC had shed themselves of all that that street fighting thing, and it was true martial artists who were all
I have a question: how easy is it to identify the difference between a fighter and a martial artist?
Respect. Like a lot of respect. And some guys. There's like a pulling force when you're a martial artist, whatever. It's all opinion anyway.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
In my opinion, it's like a pulling force. Like maybe a fighter gets hurt, he's not in the gym, he doesn't care to watch it. Maybe he doesn't watch it that much on, And this is my opinion.
Yeah.
And maybe a martial artist, is constantly studying, watching. He gets hurt, he comes to the gym, watches class, just loves it,
That sounds about right to me.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask you something else too. A lot. So I know you had gone through a lot. I wanted to ask you about your accident. Did the accident happen before you started your martial arts career, or did it happen before?
Yeah.
If you want to explain to people what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I was like 18. Over a friend's house, we're hanging out, fucking around, whatever. I did some more. I had a little car, Ford Focus,
Right.
Slow, but at the time, in my mind, it was like a race car. So I fucking took my friend for a ride, and hauling ass, and it was like in a development. That was just being built, like new paved roads, whatever. And I didn't really know it that well, so we're doing like 110, flying around, and the bend came up, hit the brakes, didn't see it in time. I thought I went through. I didn't think the bend was there. Whatever, hit the brakes, locked them up, there's like a curb, like a whatever, like a foot high, it was like a stone curb. Hit it, and that car went like sideways, and then landed on the passenger side. We slid a good bit, and I mean that turn we hit probably, I don't know, maybe 80 or something when we hit the curb. It was it was pretty wild. So the car didn't roll, but it was on its side slid. So I didn't have my seatbelt on. I remember when I got hit, like you're sitting in this chair, you would think, I don't know, it didn't. When I hit that curb, it was like my body went airborne. It's like you're in space. Yeah. And then when the car hit on its side, I fell into that side of the car. Thank God my buddy Josh was with me. He had his seatbelt on and everything. He was okay. Nothing, I'm sure he had a couple scratches, whatever, but he didn't go to the hospital or anything. So when I hit the passenger side, I'm assuming it was glass because the passenger window broke out.
Right.
And I was like on top of him. The glass like swiped my face.
Right.
And, so at the time I didn't feel anything, the adrenaline's going. So I kind of car stopped, asked him how he was doing. He's all right. So we climbed out of the driver's window. So the car's on the side. We climbed out of the driver's window. I had a couple drinks that night. So I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here. So,
so you're still not worrying about, or even you have no idea that you're injured.
Yeah, I had no idea. I knew there was like blood, but I didn't know the extent of the damage. So we take off running. So we were going back towards his house. Again, this is a development. There's really no houses where I crashed at.
Right.
So we're kind of running towards his house. So we're getting closer to the houses. I didn't feel well, I'm like, fuck, man, like something's wrong. I could feel like blood.
You just kept losing more and more blood.
Yeah,
and you're running.
Yeah,
and it's probably just pumping out. Yeah,
yeah. So I could like taste it. I'm tasting blood. I'm like, fuck. So he had a cell phone, the old flip like fucking boost phone. So I'm like, dude, check out. I'm like, turn your light on, whatever. So he like flips his phone. He's like, fuck, man, lay down. He's like, you're fucked up. I'm calling the ambulance, you know. So I laid down. I had a hoodie on. It was cold. I like wrapped it around my neck, lay on the ground. So we're calling the cops. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I get in trouble. At this point,
trouble, I might as well,
yeah.
Now you gotta. Now you have to live. So it's yeah.
So fucking, he calls him. They're going to the car. We're trying to explain to him. I'm watching cops go by, ambulance and shit, going to the car, and we're like trying to get him. So they came over, and then they checked me out. Called a helicopter. Helicopter came and got me, and it was wild, man.
So I mean, you were probably close to death. I mean, if you were bleeding out that bad.
Yeah.
And listen, the reason I asked you that, I mean, there was a reason for that. It's because, you look at, what, because I kind of knew that story, already. But I wanted people to hear it because, that's the beginning of a change in your life, I would imagine.
Yeah,
that was you at 18.
Yeah.
And, that was the last story that, that hasn't been positive in your life since.
Yeah. I mean,
And, well, you get what I'm saying. I mean, silly stuff now, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And there's we talk about that kind of stuff. There's a point where you can go one way or the other. You could have gotten stitched up and said, you know what, I didn't learn from that. I'm just, I'm going to go in. And plus, a lot of people probably watching, they don't know Millville. Millville's a tough city, or it's really tough city, and it can eat you up, right? It could take a hold of you, and that's what it could just destroy, your possibilities.
Yeah.
So I think that doing what you did and getting involved in in fighting and stuff is probably the thing that it might have saved your life. I mean,
I have a question. What was the extent of your injuries? What happened?
So, I guess you can see in here. I got a bunch of stitches. It was like 180 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So get to the hospital. They stitched me up, pulling glass out of me and shit. I was banged up, but most of the injury was just the cut, you know. So they stitched me up. They treat you a little different too, rightfully so, I guess. When a DUI,
Yeah.
I had the they did the blood work and shit. I was under the limit. I was like 0.04.
Yeah.
But I was a I was a teenager.
Yeah, you were 18.
So I ended up drinking underage. But so I got stitched up. It was like 180 stitches. In the morning, the doctor came in the morning and was like, "We're gonna run another MRI, make sure all the glass is out of there." Mm-hmm. Sure enough, there was a fucking piece of glass the size of a quarter up against.
Oh my God.
Up against my carotid artery, yeah.
Ooh,
oh my God!
So they fucking immediately was like, just don't move, fucking relax. They put me under, redid the surgery, took the glass out, and
wow, man!
Just fucking thank God that that doctor in the morning did that.
Man.
Like, fucking really.
Doctors are the shit. Like the ones,
thank God.
Like the ones who don't care, they really kill people.
Fuck yeah!
But the ones who care, they save people. It sounds like some people like that's common sense. But with my car accident when I messed up my hand, you start to respect a good doctor.
Yeah.
You don't only respect them, you love them, and you realize that they have a gift. You know what I mean? Because they see something that's not there, or something that's there, and say, hey, I can fix that. You know what I mean? It's like somebody like I respect anybody who can do anything with their hands, mechanics, carpenters, anything. I'm like, you see something that's not there. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a writer, so some people look at me like, how do you just make up stories, or how do you do this? I can. To me, it's there. Like to you don't see it. To me, it's there, and that's why I just want to give a big ups to doctors, nurses. My wife's a nurse.
My mom's a nurse.
Oh,
what
kind?
Yeah.
LPN. Yeah.
LPN. Yeah. My wife delivery.
Nice.
Bringing
them in.
Yeah. I mean, they give people a second chance every day, man. Every day.
Yeah, they see
and and that was kind of the point. You had a second chance. I mean, and look what you did with it. I mean, it's pretty commendable. And you did a lot of great things.
Thank you.
It's a story that I don't think you tell. You know, so
Thank you, man.
I felt like it was one that was worth telling. You know?
That was great. Yeah, that was great. That's crazy.
So, do you have any kids yet?
No.
No kids?
No kids. No kids.
No time for kids yet, huh?
Yeah. Especially with training and fighting and shit, I work full time. I'm a carpenter, union carpenter. So, and it just hasn't happened, So maybe sometime soon or something. Maybe have some kids or something. But I got 2 dogs, man. They're my fucking.
What kind of dogs?
A pit bull mix and she's like a Boston Terrier mix. If you Google French Bulldog pit bull mix, it's on like fucking Google. I don't know if it's right, but it's identical to. That's what she looks like. But yeah, they're my kids, man. I'm a big time dog guy.
Yeah.
I love them, man. So
I'm the opposite.
Weirdo.
I mean, not that I don't like dogs, I just don't want any, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I have 2 kids, man. I don't need another. I don't need a dog.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I want a dog, so I want what's it called? Brown, not a boxer.
Yeah.
That's my favorite dog. My wife said they're ugly. I said they're cool.
Yeah.
Boxers are that's my favorite dog. There's the Labradors right after that. But when I have a baby, if I had enough space, I'm probably gonna be able to do it this go around. But next go around, I want to get a Rottweiler and have them at the same time. If you can get a puppy Rottweiler with a kid, I mean, same thing with boxers. They're the same way too. Pit Bull, same way pretty much. They believe that kid is their own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they will save the kid before they save you.
Yeah.
Which that's what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A buddy of mine just got. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. A mastiff, massive.
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah, man. First of all, it was big when he brought it home. About that big.
Yeah, that's puppy.
I hadn't, I didn't go there for about, I'd say 3-4 weeks. Come back, this fucking dog's this big, dude. It's unbelievable. Today, now it's a full-grown dog. It's like bringing another human being into your house and having to feed it. It's unbelievable, man, how big that thing is. Yeah. I don't need to bring in another, something pretty much eat more to my kids.
Yeah.
It's like.
Mastiffs, they're actually very nice.
They are, yeah.
They want to be lap dogs. Yeah. They're huge, but they want to be lap dogs.
Yeah.
They're actually not as tough as they look like they are.
Yeah.
They're very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, Rottweilers are the same way. For a moment, they had a bad mark on them.
Yeah, they did.
But they're one of the actually best family dogs to have.
Yeah.
I learned that from my aunt.
Yeah.
Dog person.
Yeah, my cousin just got 2 massives. The one's like
2 of them.
Yeah, the one is fucking like 10 months old. The other one is I think like 2 months or something. It's funny, like his wife Candace posts like weekly or every other week or something like that. Like whatever, 10 months, 1 week, and then the weight. And it's like every week, I think the dog's like 110 pounds. Every week it's like gain. You know what I mean? Like it's a big dog. And
that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if my friend's dog is done growing. I don't know when they stop growing. It's like it's unbelievable how big those dogs are. Yeah. And listen, they're big just standing. But if you were to like take them, I mean, their hands, could be up. It's amazing. I mean, you could probably stretch them out to just 6 feet tall. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a German Shepherd fan.
Nah, they're a weird dog, man. I don't like German Shepherds.
Yeah, they are weird. But my aunt had one growing up. The same aunt, she passed, but she always did German Shepherds. And the last dog she had was a Chow Chow because she was getting older and she needed somebody like a dog smaller to take care of her. But she had one dog named King. I remember when I was a kid. I would walk past. She had a big window in front of her house, so you would walk past the house, and we'd be like, "I'm like, hey, Auntie," and she would just literally. It was like Rocky when you scream,
"Hey,
Auntie." She always at the window with the dog. And be, hey, how y'all doing? And I'd be like, "Where King at?" As soon as I say King, he'd come to the window. King loved me though. It's funny. I don't like German, but I loved him. Yeah. I would come over the house. I would literally sit on top of King and ride him like a horse. And he was like my best friend. She was like, King loves you. So that was my homie.
Yeah, I love dogs, man. Like I said, I treat them. They're like my kids, man. Karen, my fiance, she makes them fucking make some food. We like cook some food.
Dinner.
It's not every. She pre-makes it like once a week or whatever. But we're and I run with them every day. Either I run with them or they run. I got them trained where they can run like next to my car.
Oh, they probably love that.
Oh, they love it, man.
There's not enough dogs who get to run, man. It's
like I don't have kids. So that's what I do with my time. I train, work, and fuck with my dogs.
Now you, so you're grappling, right? You said now.
Yeah. Right now,
what's the difference between grappling and MMA? Or there's just certain parts that you can't include, or
yeah. So like MMA is like it's mixed martial arts, right? So you can kickboxing, Muay Thai and wrestling, jiu-jitsu. You can strike. Grappling is just it's like wrestling with submissions. Like
So and you didn't you just win one a couple weeks
ago?
Right?
Yeah. I did. There's this show called Fight to Win, even though it's a grappling match. But, I think it's funny when guys are saying, "Oh, I got a fight coming up," but they mean a grappling match. They're they're way different.
Well, you know what? In some ways, I mean, I've seen people leave from a submission in way worse shape than a guy who got knocked out. I've seen guys not tap, and I mean, grappling is if you don't tap, it's going to break.
Yeah, there's like in grappling right now, no gi. There's gi and no gi grappling, right? Gi meaning you can wear it's like a gi, like you ever seen like Karate Guy? Yeah. It's like So
and they can use the gi and
you could fucking choke each other.
I remember. Well, again, UFC 1 was Gracie, right?
Yeah,
wasn't he choking guys out with like the?
Oh yeah, the lapel. The lapel.
So you can do that in grappling.
Oh yeah. So, the no gi, there's there's no gi obviously, but so leg locks, they just were getting really popular probably a couple years ago. Within the past 4 or 5 years, they're getting really popular, and guys are getting so good at these fucking leg locks.
And guys give up their leg a lot.
Man, it's half your body. Yeah. So it's crazy shit you wouldn't expect. You get. Heel hooks will just destroy your knees. So it's pretty wild, man.
Submissions are evolving like to a point where I've seen submissions happen where they don't even know what it is. They'll like name it after the guy. It's a new thing. That shows how still that MMA is in its infancy. People feel like it's still at its pinnacle. It's at the top. I would say that it's like really still at the beginning. Because. You look at guys, how quickly these kids, and you know what, and a lot of times, it's like you'll have your career, you get to a certain point in your career, and you realize these kids know more than me.
Shit.
And
well, they pick up shit.
Yeah.
Quick.
But you know what, and fighters embrace that. That's why so many fighters don't get away from the, from the game, right? They start to teach these kids because they realize, you know what, it's not even really about is that guy tougher than you, but there's stuff that's happening that you don't, if you're not, privy to, I mean, you're not going to know, and you're going to catch you're going to end up in some type of submission. You're like, what the hell was that?
So you grew up were you strictly watching MMA, or did you watch other forms of fight? And what was your favorite thing to watch, like growing up? And who was your favorite? I'm a Tyson fan to the core.
Oh yeah, Tyson. I mean, fuck, man, you can't. He's the baddest dude on the planet for a while. It's a shame it wasn't MMA wasn't popular when he was fighting.
He literally was the first person to use the squared up stance, and people was like, they were looking at him like he's unorthodox, and he's like, no, I'm actually squared. And that's why nobody knew which way he would ever go.
Yeah, he could switch.
He can switch pivots so fast. Yeah. That was my way of street fighting, so you know.
Oh shit! Nice.
Tyson stance.
Nice.
And his angle, because he wasn't the tallest guy in that division, he utilized that uppercut. You saw him knock guys out with uppercuts like a lot, which is a tough. That's a tough punch to knock a guy out with, right? An uppercut. It's got to be timed perfectly, and it's got to hit the right spot, right?
Well, it's a setup punch. You literally, Tyson made it a setup punch / an actual lead-in punch. The way he would almost, you were so fearful of it that sometimes you'd be so scared of it. It's the only thing he would hit you with. You're done. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. You don't. It's almost like you don't see him coming. They're coming from obviously uppercut. You're coming from the ground up,
and they're usually following. A 1. That could be the 2.
Or them angles, like you said, like his angles. He would cut to the side of your body and then run it up your chest. Boom. So man, I don't know. I liked watching boxing. I liked football. Not much of a baseball. I can't really sit and watch a baseball game. I mean, I like if I would go to a game or something, but like watching it on TV, I'll fall asleep. I like
Well, you're from Carpenter, so I'm gonna ask you this question. This is a very this is a fight heavy question for y'all who out there. Like, it's gonna be a very weird question. Yeah, go ahead. This is gonna be a very weird question for most people just watching if you're not into fighting at all or carpentry. Now, when I used to fight, and also when I used to watch boxing, I always think of the body in quadrants. You know what I mean, and all that. So, do you think of it the same way? When you look at somebody fight, like when you said Tyson used to cut on the side of you and all that, I used to always think he just cut your body in half. You know what I mean? That's the way I always thought of it. But you could tell I really was a fight fan, and I also was a pretty good street fighter.
Nice.
But
nice.
But when I look at, is that the way you see it too? Like, almost when you look at people in a fight, do you see them as more of a diagram? Less, and that sounds. I'm not dehumanizing them, but it comes down to, like, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's a strategy of attack.
Yeah. I mean, if you obviously somebody with much longer arms, taller, reach, you want to get inside, shit like that. So, or you could see certain tendencies. People do certain shit. Like if they're throwing a jab, they're not bringing it back. You know what I mean? And certain body types. Yeah, there's all kind of different strategies for different people and shit like that. My striking coach, Andy Russell, he has like 3 positions, like we're facing each other now. There's A, B, and C, and those are just different where I'm at in front of you. You know what I mean? Different angles. So yeah, that's how that helped me a lot with my striking. Like, it helped me understand why I'm being hit and where I'm getting hit and how to put myself in position not to get hit. So that's kind of how I look at if I'm in front of someone, right? Like, we're fighting. I know if I'm in A over here, if I throw opening up for a right hook, I'm right in line for you to drop that. So maybe I would just, just throw different punches from different angles depending on where I'm at.
Yeah.
So, and I mean,
that's a part of fighting that, it's so, like, some of the best trainers were not the best fighters, right? It's hard to have that instinct to know what you did wrong or to see what somebody's flaw is and be an elite fighter. So some of these guys who were not the elite fighters, but they still had that, that ability to see somebody's flaw. Sometimes that's, a good trainer is the difference between a win and a loss sometimes,
To be honest,
just one thing that somebody does that, they pick up on, is going to save you and advance your career.
What's crazy, that's why a lot of fighters love Tyson, is because he was one of the few fighters who was a really great fighter.
He was a smart fighter, and he was a great fighter. He
had IQ, in-ring IQ that was phenomenal. Considering Gus D'Amato trained him like a champ, and he taught him a lot of stuff. But certain things you can't teach somebody, which is understanding. Like you said, when somebody's throwing a punch, there is a time frame in which it takes them to pull that arm back.
Yeah.
Tyson would understand by second round, it takes him 2 seconds to pull his arm. It takes him the XY seconds. He never would say it out loud, and he probably couldn't explain it.
Right.
But he would understand, it takes him this amount of time to pull that arm back, and in that time frame, that means I got to time it so that when he throws that punch, I'm taking it. And this is basic fighting 101 for some people, which they do get it, and you're taught it, but to apply it is another thing.
Yeah.
When that adrenaline hits you and you have to realize, okay, I have to give him this punch.
Yeah.
But how am I going to take the punch? Not if I'm going to. You're going to take a punch. Yeah. And that's what's remarkable about watching. And trust me, and this is weird because I'm not a Mayweather fan at all. But respect is respect. He's one of the best counterpunchers in the business. Yeah. He's one of the only people I've seen purposely take a graze and he's literally chasing your arm back in with you and giving you 4 back, and it's like, you piece of shit. It's like that's almost unguardable. You can't throw a punch. It's scary. You know what I mean?
Same thing with him, right? Like people bust his balls about the reading shit, right? Like with him reading, but fuck, man, he can make that's what it's called when you, like, if I see you have a tendency to do something, like make a read on you, right? And you could fuck up just once, and he could make that read and time it the next. Like you said, he would pull off of a jab and come back counter with that straight right. It's kind of like a leaping right, and he'd be out on an angle when that A, B, C position. When he hit that right, he'd be sliding right off to A. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, he's amazing. Tyson's amazing. Yeah, it's in boxing. You could all martial arts. That's why I like martial arts a lot. Like, I could train. If I live to be 300 years old, I can learn something new every fucking day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's like no end to it. Like you said, it's just really.
It just keeps evolving too.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
it's gonna be crazy. You know,
there is no end to it.
Yeah, there's no end to it.
Full respect, man, for what you do, bro.
Oh, yeah, me too, man. I mean,
Boxing
that's why we
too,
wanted to have
man.
you on. I mean, you know, there's a message, you know, again, you know, it's just, see, you know, I kind of said that before you came on. I was like, you know, everybody wants to talk about just, you know, one organization or one fight or whatever. You know, I've always been more interested in what it makes, you know, what makes the man who goes in there. And I've seen so many times what they give back when they step out.
Yeah.
And that's a story that just doesn't ever really get told. And I think it's starting to now, but, you know, it should really be praised. I mean, it's a much, much better career than what people give, you know, than they give it. It gives back all the time.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, you know, you see guys always, you know, they're always going to, you know, to entertain the troops. They're always, you know, but, you know, not only that, you know, there's gyms opening up all over the place. They're getting people out of their couches and, you know, and they're teaching them, you know, how to get out there and be healthy and encouraging them. You know, so there's not just the fight aspect. You can train for MMA and never put a hand on anybody.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love the mindset in which it teaches you to go in and learn, be trained how to fight, which people don't get it. There are people with raw talent who can go and they can knock out the best of them, you know what I mean? Joe Morrison, we were speaking about him briefly.
Tommy
Morrison, we were speaking of, he's one of those people who had raw talent. But then when it came time when it came time to train, he also excelled at being trained, but he didn't realize until the latter part of his career, you know what I mean, that what he needed that training. He needed to be taught to truly rein in everything you're doing, man. That is the difference between, and that's why I love MMA. I love any art form of fighting, those fighting arts, is because it teaches you to take what you have and truly mold it into not just a weapon, like really understanding the dynamics. That's why I like talking with fighters, especially. I always wanted to talk about like how they see the fight. Because you don't see it the same as.
Well, the other part of it too is like what you just said earlier, the read. I mean, you're reading people. I mean, if you can learn how to do that, you could take that through your entire life. You could take it into the next career. You could take it into being a father. You could take it into a lot of things. You know, when you're locked up with somebody and you know that you guys, you know, or you know, one of you has to come out a winner. You know, when you can have that ability to read somebody. You know, it can help you throughout your entire life, man. I mean, it's just begun, you know.
I think I'm going to say this, then I'm going to ask you what your opinion is. The one thing I've taken back, and this from me just fighting in the streets, is realizing that, okay, fighting for safety, when I was younger, it was safety / recreation. But for me, it was safety / recreation. You know what I mean? It was fun for me. It wasn't fun for the other person. But, I would say when I started looking at boxing and other art forms, one of the things I took away from that was, one person quote unquote wins, but technically no one truly loses if the fighters have the right mindset. You know what I mean? Every now and then you do go in and you're like, okay, this guy has to lose. You know what I mean? And that's a weird thing when you walk in for somebody to lose. So usually because a lot of personal feelings are involved in that, and you want that person to lose because you have to beat them. You know what I mean? It's a difference, but most times you're like, I can't wait to compete against this person. You know what I mean? And it's a competition thing. Question, and I guess you can go and we can close it out with your statement of it. As what do you think is the biggest takeaway, I would say, emotionally or mentally, not just physically, that you got from fighting, or something you want to tell people as like a way to kind of advocate for it? You know, there's some moms out there like, my son wants to be in an MMA. I think it's too violent. It's like, it's a lot of takeaways too, other than just a punch to the face, you know?
I guess discipline, you know, like, growing up, like I said, I was fighting. I was a fucking little asshole, you know, like, you know, street fighting, you know how it is, you know, bumping someone, you know, what's up? And then fucking knowing the whole time
just
you're just
somebody,
setting the shit up, you know? So, discipline, I guess that's the biggest thing for me, you know, and if you know, from folding dishes to fucking folding laundry, you know, if you develop habits. Like if you're like, I'll do that a little later. You carry that with you throughout everything. You know, I guess the the fighting gave me discipline, man. It gave me like an order in my life, you know. Like I got to be at practice at 6. You know, if you don't get there on time, you're doing burpees and push-ups and shit. And
that's life. I mean, you know, there's always a consequence to life. So that's there's a consequence there. Yeah, that's a big message too, right? You know.
Yeah. And I mean, technically for fighting, some people for that workout is technically religious. You know what I mean? To a certain extent. You know
one of the things too, like. I know from you, just from seeing your fights and being at a few of them in Atlantic City, is, there are fighters that they don't respect maybe they respect the game, but they don't respect the other guy on the other side of the ring, or in the cage. And I know for a fact, because I've seen it, this is a guy that's always respected his opponent. If his opponent got knocked out, if his opponent got, hurt, this is not a guy, he'll celebrate. But you're right back to make sure that this guy's okay. Mm-hmm. You could look it up. The proof is there, and that is probably something that you learn too that you don't even realize because you have to. We're spectators of your career, so there's certain aspects of your career that you probably don't even realize unless a spectator says that. Yeah. I mean, would you agree with that? I mean, you do seem to me, no matter who the guy is, that you respect them, win or lose, and
Yeah,
they're on the same path.
Yeah. I guess that comes down to just trying to be a good person, like, I guess that's the goal, just try to be a better person every day, and that, that comes with fighting. You fuck someone up, you hurt them, whatever, and it's a sport. Bottom line, it is a sport. I mean, it's a fight, it's a fighting, but it is a sport. So
people would like to think that everybody that goes in there hates each other, but you know what? Sometimes, have you ever fought your friend?
Oh yeah.
You have had to fight your friend.
No, not in a.
I mean in the cage.
No.
Oh, you have.
I've never. I'm trying to think. Who have I?
That's got to be tough, man.
I fought.
That might be the
did.
hardest thing
did,
in MMA.
Not a friend, but I trained with a guy, and I ended up fighting.
Yeah.
When I was an amateur, but
does that mess you up any, or you just remember
nah.
it's a job?
Depends on the extent of the level of fight too.
Yeah.
If you got to fight a friend, and you're both like he either had the championship or you know what I mean. And, it's a different fight. You know what I mean? It's one of the things where it's like, I love you. I need to win also. You know what I mean?
It's a sport, man.
That's why, it's a sport, bro. I mean, one of the funnest things, you grew up playing football also?
Yeah.
One of the funnest things about playing football is when you can compete against one of your friends.
I guess that's true.
He passed away, and I love him to death, but it was one of my friends who grew up with, we played basketball together. He was a quarterback. I was, of course, D lineman. Hit him, I was coming in to sack him, me and my linebacker. I was deep nose guard. Linebacker hit, ball flipped right out. This is at homecoming, too, just so you know. Ball slid right out. I picked it up, took it 65 yards.
Nice.
My homie was the quarterback.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't wait to call him, like, oh, dude. And it was at homecoming. This is like, two South Philly teams. You got Southern, which is the main South Philly school, versus Bach, which is like, the Tech South Philly school, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was huge, and it was like packed to the gills. Literally, everybody was there. That was a hood moment where it's like, yo, Chris, you scored a touchdown? I'm a lineman. Nobody ever expected. My homies talked about that. It was fun, but it was also just one of my best friends growing up, who was from a different part of the city. But he's from South Philly, but different side of South Philly. So it's sports. What I love about sports is how much competition can bring you together. I did like more, especially in basketball and football, and professional. Now people are a little more friendly. That I like them to be on the field. I liked it when they were like they hated each other. They put up the facade of hatred towards each other to play the sport. But once the whistle is blown and come on, like Magic and who was it? Magic and Bird and all of them, like they had such a hatred on the court. But off the court, they were like best of friends. A lot of those dudes loved each other. But we definitely got to wrap it up. So
I wanted to. How can people catch you on social media if you got some things coming up or follow you?
Tim Williams 185 on Instagram. Let me see, Twitter. I'm not on Twitter too much, but I'm mostly on Facebook, man. You can find me right on Facebook. I got a personal page and a fan page.
And you post when you're like, I know you're kind of undecided whether you want to, continue on with, with your career or if you might, decide to retire. But if they want to find out, if you have another fight, you post all those on there, and they can find out when your next fights are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I usually post on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook if I have something coming up. So I don't have anything in the works right now. I was going to do a grappling match next weekend, but my niece is getting married. So
hey man, congratulations,
Amber. Congratulations, Amber.
Congratulations.
Tim Williams, man. Make sure you follow him, man.
Yeah.
And Tony, East Rose Podcast.
That's right, man.
Yeah, Tony keeps it low key. Not me. I got to do 50,000 social media things. So East Rose Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Please tell a friend, subscribe, hit the notification button, post about us. Look, I know you like us, but don't keep us a secret. Tell somebody else, man.
Yeah. Don't forget
Facebook, Instagram.
Don't forget ChrisCotton.com or ChrisCottonComedy.com.
Yep. You can pick up a book and everything else, albums, and at Cotton215 on all social media.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
So we got some big fights coming up this weekend. Maybe we'll have you come back in and talk about what happened and all.
Man.
So we appreciate it, man. It was a pleasure having you.
Good shit, man.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
East Roast Podcast. Catch you later.
Have you ever, you crazy mother?
The East Roast Podcast.
Are you listening? You crazy mother. Damn.